dealer's license. The only change is his name. Pleasure of the board.
I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded, discussion. There being none, I'll call for the vote.
Abstain.
Yes.
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 Yes, 4 in the affirmative, 1 abstention, motion carries.
Centerfolds is seeking, and this is all under, also under approvals needed. Centerfolds is seeking the board's approval to stay open all night on Saturday, July 19th and Sunday, July 20th, to allow contractors to make small renovations. There is precedent here. You did this back in December of 2007 to allow them to do work on the sprinkler system. Pleasure of the board.
I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Seconded.
Seconded, discussion. Selectman Sad, and then Selectman Lamountain.
Could we also, if the board so chooses to vote this, could we also make sure that the chief is aware of it, and that those days that have been requested, that each shift is notified and do spot checks to ensure that, in fact, there is construction going on?
Good point.
He said what I was gonna.
Okay.
Quite eloquently, thank you, John.
In addition, I just don't want this to become a common practice for establishments to, get notion of this and think that they can have contractors in at night. That's not the intent of this. The last time we allowed this, I believe they were under the gun on a timing, scheduling matter. Sprinklers, thank you very much to the clerk. And if this is just allow contractors to make small renovations because they don't want to close down during the regular hours of operation, I don't think this is something we should get into the habit of doing when we get requests. So if the board's inclined to do this now, fine, but I don't think our police officers should have to go to establishments because people don't want to close down when they should to do repairs or renovations. I just think it's a bad precedent to set. So if the board's inclined to allow it this time and put them on notice that we're not going to do it in the future, or just say no, that we're not going to do it, I'd just put that out there. Selectman Lamountain.
Well, point taken, Jen, and you know what, where we haven't established any precedent one way or another, I would agree. I remember the last time we did it was because of the sprinkler system. As far as the renovations go, if I'm not mistaken, it was painting that they were going to be doing.
I don't know.
I thought that's what it was painting, which of course you do it during the daylight hours, the night. This will be better because it gets it all day to dry. I don't mind looking at every one of them though, Jen, as a case-by-case basis. And, what's the work, and if it's something that, I don't mind working with the businesses, but you're right, I don't want it to be taken for granted either.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have no problem with this one because of the scope of the work. And I did read somewhere where it was painting, not just minor renovations.
Okay, that would matter, obviously. If it was painting, you wouldn't want to do that.
Right.
You'd have to do it at certain times. And just for purposes of the record, in fact, it was a sprinkler system construction. They needed to stay open from 3 a.m. to 11 a.m. So that's, in fact, what that extraordinary relief we granted was for. So if the board's inclined to do it this time again, I just would caution us that we want to take a look at this stuff. Selectman Coonan.
Madam Chair, that's an interesting point you brought up, that they gave the hours. Do they have hours for this one as well, too? What I'm looking for is be a definitive time that the patrons and workers leave as to the hours they're working.
No,
Do I have that?
It's not in the manager's report, so that's
Item
a good
8.
point.
Hold on. They're usually pretty good about this. That's sprinkler systems.
It doesn't say anything as far as times go.
No, just the 19th and 29th.
And Karen, it was your letter that mentioned painting.
Mhm. So we don't have anything in writing from them that it's painting or specific hours. I mean, I'm almost inclined to suggest that we have them just pay a detail to be there during these hours. I mean, why should our OPD have to go there? We have limited staff at those hours of the night, and, to go over there and do spot checks, which is a good idea. We need to have somebody over there. Why don't we just have them pay a detail to be there? Just put it out there. I mean, I want to work with the businesses too, but if this is just pure convenience for them on a profit margin basis, and, we've got our police officers going over there to make sure that they're not doing something they're not supposed to be doing in violation of their license, it doesn't make much sense to me that we should foot the bill.
Madam Chair, then I would have no problem modifying my motion to grant it, to approve their renovations, provided they provide a detail officer to supervise.
Okay, do I
If
have
that'll make you,
I think that makes
Second.
sense.
okay.
Any further discussion? Selectman Sad?
No, I think it's a good idea. I mean, if there's an officer there to ensure that no patrons are going in and out of the building, that's what he's being paid to do.
Yeah, and we were showing
Fine.
flexibility.
I would go along with it.
Call for the vote?
Yes.
Abstain.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, 4 in the affirmative, 1 abstention, motion carries.
Thank you. There are a couple of invitations to the board. An invitation was hand-delivered to the Selectmen's office on July 7th requesting their presence at the grand opening of Equine Essentials Tack Shop on Saturday and Sunday, July 12th and 13th. The new shop is located at 2 Fairlawn Avenue in Oxford. Kindly RSVP to your clerk. However, the French River Greenway Steering Committee will be holding an event to celebrate the opening of the first Greenway segment, the Perryville Trace. Perryville Trace on Saturday, July 12th at 9 a.m. at Perryville in Webster. The board has been invited to attend. You also are requested to RSVP to your clerk. David Manugian, our town engineer planning director, has announced that historical Nipmuc tribe representatives will be making a presentation to the planning board at the town hall on Monday, July 14th at 8:15 p.m. All are invited. They also broadcast, so if you can't get here, you can watch the presentation. I have some requests regarding October town meeting warrant. The town clerk agrees, and I'm requesting that the board set the date for the October town meeting for Wednesday, October 22nd, 2008 at 7 p.m. in the Oxford High School auditorium. Pleasure of the board.
I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded, discussion. Being none, I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative.
And along those lines, I also recommend that the board vote to open the warrant on August 4th, 2008, and that it be closed at 4:30 p.m. on September 16th, 2008. Pleasure of the board.
I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. I would just ask that we be provided 2 weeks before the warrant closes, a memo, bright, highlighted reminder, warrant closing in 2 weeks, just because we get wrapped up in the summer and then we're usually scrambling. Unfortunately, seems to be the practice to get stuff on the warrant, so just give everybody an extra notice, that would be great. Call for the vote?
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative.
And given that town meeting date of October 22nd, the last day for voter registration will be Friday, October 10th, and the town clerk's office will be open from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Some news about the Oxford Community Center. They've announced that the farmers market will return for its second year, will be held every Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon, beginning this Saturday, July 12th. A lot going on this weekend. And they'll continue through the end of October. Please check the website, the town website, and/or the cable access channel for more information, or you could call the community center directly at 508-987-6002. If you're interested in selling your farm produce, they can work with you to set up a table there as well. We've received a report today that Webster Lake will be closed for swimming, fishing, and boating on Tuesday, July 15th. They will be chemically treating it for weeds. Having said that, I'd like to announce that Carbuncle Beach in Oxford will be open to the public. It is open to the public now. Open swim from 12:30 to 6 p.m. Lifeguards are on duty during that time. The Oxford Community Center is holding an open house for their Silver Sneakers Fitness program on Monday, July 21st, from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. A representative from Silver Sneakers will be on hand, as well as additional staff to process applications and paperwork for interested parties. Refreshments will be served. I wish I was a little bit older. And staff will be available to provide tours of the fitness facility. Reminder to folks at home, the selectmen will be holding a meeting on Tuesday, July 15th at 7 p.m. at the Oxford Community Center regarding the design of the new skateboard park. The park designer will be present. There will also be some discussion regarding the rules and regulations for users of the park, and the town would like to ensure that a courtesy is extended to the neighborhood residents. So the neighborhood residents have been invited. The skaters community has been invited. If you cannot attend the meeting, you may contact me at 508-987-6030, or mail your ideas to Board of Selectmen, 325 Main Street, Oxford 01540. Your input is important. We want to make sure that we design a park that everybody can be happy with. Finally, I have a Class 3 license violation. At your meeting of June 3rd, the board directed Mr. David Farah to make certain improvements to his property in response to a Class 3 license violation. A report from Chief Boss on an inspection made by Officer McDonald on July 3rd is in your packet. It appears that some of the progress has been made, but not all of the required work has been completed. Pleasure of the board.
I would, at this time, I was not privy to that meeting. I did miss that meeting, so rather than guess what the board's intentions were, I will pass the gavel to my vice chair on that issue.
Thank you. Karen, if you could, there was a letter that was sent to David telling him he had 30 days or so to comply with certain criteria. If you could just send him out another copy of that letter, telling him to come into compliance with the areas that were not accomplished as of yet, removing the yellow truck bed, I believe, from the top of whatever it's on. And I believe it's something to do with the last 3 panels of fence. The fencing may be difficult, but the yellow truck bed can come down, which was one of the orders. Just tell him he has to come into compliance with that, and if he doesn't, within 2 weeks, we'll have this re-inspected. And I put this out there to the board members who are participating. We'll call him forward for a show cause for non-compliance. Thank you. Is that okay?
It's fine.
Questions? Okay, thank you.
So I'll follow up on July 22nd.
Thanks.
Thank you for that. I didn't want to step in. I didn't know what you guys had discussed or agreed to.
That ends my report, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Selectmen's request, Selectman Lamountain.
I am all set.
Thank you, Selectman Glant.
Joe, where are we on the basketball court? What is taking so long to get that put up?
I'm glad you asked. The paver will be there tomorrow. The hoops are going up as soon as the pavement's cool enough to allow people to work on it. We got a little delay on the fence. We're bidding that now, but I should have that up in awarded in a couple of weeks. We should have that awarded in a couple of weeks. However, in the short term, we're going to open the basketball court. We'll put barrels around it so if there's a loose ball, people won't be driving through. It'll clearly stop folks from driving through. With the gates closed, there's no through traffic anyway, but I think we'll get that going quickly.
So you don't know when it will be able to be used? At
I
all?
would say if this guy's good to his word and he does pave it tomorrow, we could have it ready to use next week.
And what about lights?
I know they have lights in stock. It's a matter of getting them wired and put in the ground.
Yes, it is.
It is. It's easy to say.
Coming soon?
Coming soon.
I had a complaint about the sand on George Street. Hasn't all the sand been removed at this point in July, or?
If I may, Madam Chairman, I've heard, when I talked to Operations Manager Steve Esposito, he's finishing up in the northeast part of town and will be swinging around that way. So that would be Fort Hill, Sutton Avenue, and then Huguenot, Holbrook, moving that in that direction, those streets. It's interesting. Right after Selectman Coonan brought up the street sweeper, it hasn't acted up since. I think it was the threat of us taking the manufacturer to court that it's been well behaved. And having said that, it'll probably break down tomorrow. But with the rain, that's best I can say, that rain, vacations, things are taking time.
And one more thing for the DPW. We had discussed at one point speed bumps at Greenbrier, the road going into Greenbrier,
Yes, yeah.
and that has not been done. It's been at least a couple of years, maybe 3 years. So if you could look into that, I'd appreciate
Okay,
it.
thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Selectman Coonan.
Thank you. I have a couple items this evening. First of all, to the town manager. Joe, can you tell us the status of the road bids that earlier in the spring, we asked for a list of projects of things that will be done. We started to get complaints. I got a complaint today, a guy called about Sutton Avenue, the terrible condition it's in, and what's going on. One of the bids, when's the work going to be done? Has that stuff been bidded yet?
I don't believe so.
Okay, well, it's
I
getting...
will get you a report, however.
If you please get back to us with a report in when these projects, if they will be done this year, because some of these roads are in pretty deplorable condition, and this stage in the season, I'm just a little nervous that the work's not going to get done. So if you please get back to the board with that, keep us informed.
Very good.
And lastly, we've done a good job of trying to mark our crosswalks. The flags, the sticks out there, they're painted. Unfortunately, there's still people that try and pass that car or the pedestrian in the crosswalk. And it's really a scary situation now. I spoke to a resident the other evening, and there was 3 cars parked out here on Main Street, and a car decides to pass off, 3 cars stop for the person in the crosswalk. The person goes over to the right and tries to pass off 3 cars, nearly an injury. Someone's going to hurt. Someone's going to get hurt down there. Could we talk to Chief Boss? I know the city of Worcester was very successful with doing some safety, some crosswalk compliance checks. If he has it in his budget, or if there are grants out there to institute that type of program here in Oxford, where they basically put an officer into the road, and some people like to take it pretty close. The close cut on it, and they have an officer there, and the people are ticketed, and at least it makes it visible. It puts people on notice that crosswalks are there for a reason, for the pedestrian to safely cross the road. Some people out there think that they can wait, and unfortunately, people have been hurt, and I don't see anyone else getting hurt. So if there's anything that the chief can do to try and up the compliance in this area, it would be very, very much appreciated. If he can do it, like I said, if there's grants out there, if he has something in his budget to take a look at this, again, I thank him. That's all I have. Thank
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 you.
you very much. Selectman Sad?
Yes, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank the town manager for organizing the groundbreaking this evening. Job well done, Joe. Everything was very professional. We had shovels with the town seal and the date on it, and we had hard hats with our names and the town seal. It was an enjoyable little program. And I'd
Thank
like
you.
to also thank Chairman Casey for doing an outstanding job on her presentation and overview of the Oxford Police Department and how it affects the community and how long we waited. Well-deserved and good job, both of you.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you. I took notes of your presentation at town meeting, the historical
Job well done.
guideline that you gave us, which was fantastic as well. Thank you. Just 2 items that I have, one of which is the town manager touched upon it, the meeting that we have scheduled to accommodate the citizens with respect to their questions and concerns about the skateboard, basketball court park. And I just want people to know that we sent out letters to, I believe, over 80 people, because we did receive a petition with approximately 83 names on it. And I want people to know that we sent out personal letters to everybody who signed that petition, even though they weren't abutters. I mean, there were some people from Brown Road, all parts of town. They all received a letter from the board requesting that they come and voice their concerns and questions about this project, and we're going to do our best to answer those questions and concerns. So I just want people to know that, and essentially this meeting is for them. So, and we're not required to have any public hearings, but it's out there, and we're going to do the best that we can that evening to be productive. And secondly, there is a hearing scheduled for tomorrow night. It's at the Senior Center. I believe it's at 7 p.m. It's concerning the proposed Aquarian rate increases for the Oxford customers. and I would encourage everybody who may be impacted by that rate increase, or that proposed rate increase, to attend that meeting. It is a bizarre request when you look at the issue as to whether or not Aquarian should be able to increase the rates on Oxford residents to make improvements on a Millbury facility that doesn't in any way benefit the Oxford ratepayer. It would seem to me that that is inherently unfair, but that's what the issue is. So if you have concerns and you want to show up, I don't think it's a done deal. I think it's worthwhile to show up and be heard on that rate increase, and why you either support it or why you're against it. So just by way of reminder, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Senior Center. That's all I have.
Thank
If
you.
there's nothing further, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative, we are adjourned. Good evening.